franktalks.com.
Check out the Frank Talks Relationships column currently running in the Suburban Newspaper online magazine. To read more, please visit thesuburban.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
Stop being single. Remember to sign up for the Stop Being Single newsletter and get weekly tips about how to stop being single and how to start up a love life. Sign up at franktalks.com now.
Relationships, sex, passion with Dr. Laurie Betito. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. Tonight on Passion, the Boys Club. We need to give men some equal time here and a little bit of airtime to discuss issues about sex and relationships and see where they stand, because often, well, I get a very different perspective than the ones I get from when I'm talking with my girlfriends, and it always is interesting to see what the guys say. You can join our Boys Club tonight. You just have to call in or text in with some of your thoughts. Tonight, in the house, Ilan Preisler, nicknamed the Passion Player.
Hello.
Frank Kermit of franktalks.com, who happens to be a dating coach and a regular here on Passion. Ryan Ryder, he's I call him the young pup of the group.
Since when do I get third billing?
I don't. Well,
I missed 1 month and I'm the third one announced?
I mix them around, Ryan, please. And he's a producer here at CJAD, and I'm the token female. If you want to take part in this panel discussion, and we'll talk about anything. So if you want a topic thrown out there, if you're a woman and want to get a guy's perspective, when we have the women on the program, when we do our Passion View, we often will get texters or letters or calls from men wanting to hear, hey, what do four ladies think of this? You know, and we're all kind of representative of different age groups and what have you. So here's your chance, women. If you want to ask the guys, do it. 514-790-0800, or you can text at 514-800. So I don't know how you guys been in the last month. I know I'm just back from vacation, so you guys are the first ones I see.
Welcome back, Laurie.
Thank you very much.
Very nice tan, I see. Had a good time?
I had an amazing time. It was paradise. A little piece of Mexico there was just absolute paradise. So it's nice to be back, but kind of already missed the ocean and the beach. And
I was on vacation. I was on vacation a few weeks ago too, which is why I missed the last episode of the Boys Club.
That's right. You were on a cruise.
I was on a cruise.
Different.
I had a good time.
Were
as
you
well.
cruising? Did you do any cruising?
Yeah. I had a little bit of fun.
What does a single guy do on a cruise, Ryan?
Oh, I had a good time on the cruise. That's for sure.
Has a lot of sex.
I had a nice king bed on the ship, and even though I went solo, you're never alone on a cruise. There's 3,000 people on the ship, tons of activities. I participated in everything I could and went on all the nice, beautiful ports.
We'll call Ryan the friendly guy.
Had a good time.
You're the friendly guy, eh? You really are. You're like, you're a game. You're a game for just about anything.
Yeah, I literally am. Ilan knows me pretty well. I could be nice and sometimes
he's friendly, and then he gets you off your guard, and then bang, pregnant.
No. That's never. Now you're scaring me.
You really want to give him a bad reputation.
Yeah, now you're scaring me. The other experience I had recently is the very first time I ever went speed dating, which I did last weekend.
Okay, tell me about that. How was it?
That was an experience. I was a little nervous going into it. I spoke to Frank.
Oh yeah, because he has held some speed dating events.
He's the expert on the topic, and he told me just go in with an open mind. Don't have any expectations. Just take it lightly. Just have a good time, which is exactly what I did. The other advice he gave me was to say yes for everyone,
no matter what.
Yeah, but the thing is, some of them Some of them I didn't feel any chemistry with, so I still put no. Sorry, Frank, but I think out of 12 dates, I ended up with 5 matches.
Wow,
which is pretty good.
Wow,
yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
And I had a great time. Last week.
Well, see, there's a recommendation right there, right? Someone who's experienced it, and you could actually vouch for this kind of event.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the benefits of saying yes to as many people as possible, because it shows you how you did. If you only said yes to the 2 or 3 or the one you liked, you wouldn't have known that 5 other people there wanted to date you, because the 1 or 2 that you chose might not have been any of those 5. At least now you know. You know how you did.
Yeah, because that's true. Otherwise, you wouldn't know, because they only tell you when you've matched up with somebody else. When someone has picked you and you picked them, that's the only time you know.
Yeah. So anyhow, I went in with an open mind, like I was planning to, and I really, whether it turns out into anything serious or just friends or a fling, I'm sure it'll all be in good taste.
So you better follow up though.
I will.
Okay, don't be a wuss and
I'm not being a wuss.
Okay.
I've just been so busy that I gotta make the effort to follow up.
You do, because a lot these
There's
girls will
always
think.
room for Jello.
What meaning?
There's always room for sex. That came out funny.
At the very least,
Okay.
let them know that you're going to contact them later. Don't just not
That's
contact
right.
them.
Yeah.
Don't, because then they're already moving on and think,
Yeah.
okay, well,
And they
clearly
probably
he's
met
not
other people,
interested,
too.
and they will meet other people. So then you're going to be a write-off.
Yeah,
So
well, I've spoken to 2 already, and we've planned to go on dates. So
okay, good.
I'll give you an update on the next episode of the Boys Club.
Absolutely, we're on top of your dating life there, Ryan. The entire world here wants to know how Ryan's doing.
Well, this is very important. I'm the married guy, and I live vicariously through Ryan.
Yeah, so you better have some action to give to Frank.
And
there.
I'm always looking to meet some people. So if you want to text us 514-800, just go
right,
ahead. Don't be shy.
especially if you want to meet Ryan. 514-790-0800. Okay, some of your experiences, Ilan. What do you? Something you want to talk about?
I had a pretty wild month.
Really?
Woo!
Meaning?
Well, the most recent was last week into this weekend.
Just
but
don't
actually,
kiss and tell, right? Don't get people
No names,
angry.
no names.
Okay.
I would never say a name.
Okay. Well, I know that, but
You know that, but what?
you might slip out.
Oh, no. It's definitely not coming out.
Just be careful.
So meet on Tinder. I love this story. Meet on Tinder.
Okay. Which is an app, by the way, for
Yes.
people who don't know Tinder. Maybe you can explain how it works.
Oh, very simple. It's an app on, it's probably on all these smartphones. Basically, when you see a picture of someone, if they like you, you like them, you match up, you can start chatting.
But you have to put a profile on it? On
No,
Tinder?
it ties
It's
into Facebook.
Facebook, okay.
And your pictures get uploaded and you're done.
It's pretty much
But you
all
have
based-
to have connection. You have to be connected to on
the
some
internet.
level. No, what I mean is, how do they pick the people who come up?
It's by location. It does say
That's
if you
right.
have common friends, but there
It's
could
a
be
search
cases where you have
radius.
no friends. But it's like right now I'm in the CJAD studios. I put a 10-kilometer radius. It'll have any girls or whatever I'm looking
Who
for.
are on
if I was looking for
Facebook.
guys, girls, whatever.
Anybody who's on Facebook.
No, not Facebook. Anyone who's signed up for Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
if they're logged into Tinder and I'm logged in at the same time and they're in the 10-kilometer radius,
Right.
their picture might pop up. I either click, do I like this picture? Do I not like this picture? If you click like and they click like, then
The
you're
match
matched
is
up.
made.
And then after that, one of you could message the other. Some people are saying this is a dating app. I think it's mostly a hookup app.
It's both. It depends what your purposes are. In any case, we meet, we match at 6 o'clock. We start chatting pretty much immediately. We talk on the phone at 6:30.
Oh, you talked on the phone? That's a
Yeah.
new concept.
No, not for me.
He's
I've
old
always-
school. He's old
Okay,
school.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
So we ended up meeting by 8 o'clock. She was over by 11 in my bed at 6 in the morning.
Okay. So it is a hookup app. Okay.
The
So
passion
that was-
player.
That was fun. And I also, there's a couple other girls.
You've had a busy month.
Yeah, it has been pretty fun.
But he really is the passion player.
In any
What a
case, there's
reputation.
something that happened with I'm not a player.
Okay. Or
I'm-
whatever you want to
I'm
call it.
Honest. They all knew what they're getting in for.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
It's all good.
Some
Okay,
of them do. Some
okay.
of them don't.
In any case,
Let's go with his word.
You're the ethical seducer.
We will
I
take.
like that.
Okay.
How about let's hear it after the break?
Did everybody hear that? The ethical seducer. That's what Frank calls
and that's
him.
not an oxymoron. That does exist.
Okay. All right. Well,
As
go
long- as
continue
long as you-
your
As long
story.
as you're honest with anyway. The
in 30 seconds or
in 30
less.
seconds,
Uh-huh.
I had dirty talk with this girl like I've never experienced in my life. It was...
By her request or yours?
Well, it just happened organically.
Okay.
Someone may have mentioned the word daddy. And...
Like in, who's your daddy?
Yes. But like more intense and more like... And the word father came out, and then...
What?
Like... It got. I don't even know.
Let's save this for after the break.
The last, the last
save
element of this puzzle is a little disturbing.
Okay. Maybe, just maybe, we'll find out what's so disturbing about that kind of dirty talk. And anything else you want to talk about here with the guys on the Boys Club right here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, the podcast. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Tonight it is the Boys Club, where once a month the guys join me in studio. We have a panel of guys, Ryan Ryder, Ilan Preisler, and Frank Kermit, and they share their stories and exploits, really. It sounds to be like this is a showcase for you guys, isn't it? But we learn a little bit. I learn a little bit from your lives, and I'm sure our listeners are learning. And some of the women are learning, and sometimes they get a little nauseous and maybe grossed out, but whatever. We're not judging. We're not judging.
Some of us are. Some of the listeners are, I'm sure.
Yes,
Sure.
we tend to, but we're trying not to. We're trying to keep an open mind. And Ilan was telling us about his month of exploits and something that was disturbing to you or not disturbing to you.
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot. Okay, so for the purposes of this story, my name is not Ilan, it's
something.
Shabubu. So
it's too late. You've already been outed.
It started with the daddy fantasy, and it got very real on that fantasy.
For people who may have just tuned in, Ilan is talking to us about an experience with a woman who we met and who started just a lot of dirty talk, and it got very intense to a point where...
I may have initiated it.
You may have, yeah. Likelihood you initiated it, but anyhow, yes.
No. So one thing leads to another, and I don't remember how it gets to this level, but the daddy-father paradigm shifts into rape.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this, take me fantasy, and like, I can't say this, but I said something very provocative.
That shocked you shocked yourself?
I did. Nothing like that had ever come out of my mouth, and I'm like, I discovered something more, I guess, deep about my own sexuality, and that
more carnal.
Yeah, it's a good word. Mm-hmm. It's a good word.
But what's interesting about the rape, you mentioned rape fantasy. Initially, when you said that to me off air, we said, okay, well, that's a rather common, believe it or not, fantasy for women, only because it's a fantasy of seduction where the woman is in control of what happens. So she's taken, but she's in control, right? It's her fantasy. It belongs to her. But then you threw in the daddy thing, and that was a little bit...
Yeah, they became intertwined. Yeah, they became one and the same.
That's a little more... disturbing. Yeah. Somebody just texted in, maybe you guys know this. International Women's Day was on March 8th. Is it true that on March 14th it's Steak and BJ Day for men, or is this just a joke?
If it's not, it should be.
It seems like every day has some sort of special day. Today is actually International Women's HIV Day.
Women's HIV Day, really?
Women's HIV Awareness Day is actually March 10th.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I've never heard of Steak and BJ Day, though, but it has been invented by men.
I know a few people who actively celebrate it.
Steak and BJ Day?
They literally
March
they make
14th?
a joke. They make a joke about it. It's 1 month after Valentine's Day.
Oh.
The idea is that because in North America, Valentine's Day is primarily the guy gets the girl something.
Mm-hmm.
When they first introduced the concept of Valentine's Day in Asian countries, it was just understood that the women were buying chocolates for men.
Mm-hmm.
So here in North America, the response was, well...
We don't want chocolates, we want steak.
We want steak, we want sex.
Okay.
So, Ilan, is that it of your story? Is there anything else?
I think I've had enough.
There's
of
a little
story.
more, but
I don't need the details, and no, I'm good. I'm good.
So
Yes.
I've got another story. It's not as exciting as his, but 2 weeks ago I went to I had a party at an establishment in the West Island. It's a place that I thought would be MILF Central, And the first girl that I spoke to, she was either around 27, 28, and we were hitting it off. Like, she was really flirting with me a lot. And then I found out that she has a boyfriend. She gave me her number anyway, but I kind of left it at that. A little later on in the night, had a few more drinks, and ended up hooking up with a 19-year-old. She was a bit of a head case, so I didn't want to. I chose not to pursue that either. Yeah, I don't know. I found she was too young. 19. I found it was.
How old are you?
It was too young. I'm turning 26.
Stop talking nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was too immature. I just
right.
if I didn't answer her text for 10 minutes, she'd go crazy at me. So
here's a text I want to read, and then you'll respond after. Aren't your guests worried of STDs when they hook up? I'm the girl who keeps writing about the STD online dating sites, and I feel like people are so excited about how easy now it is to find matches and to hook up that they don't realize how life-changing getting an STD is. I've read comments about people who, after they've been diagnosed with herpes or HPV, who've considered taking their own lives because of the stigma attached to these diseases. Somebody's trying to give you a message, guys, and we'll talk about that message coming up next here on Passion.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, the podcast. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight on the program, Ilan, Frank, and Ryan in studio. So we've been hearing about exploits, and Frank and I are the only ones not really talking because we're both married, and our exploits are over and done with.
No, come on. Tell us how you spice things up with your respective others.
Let me just get to our text. So one texter was talking about the STDs. Aren't the two of you worried with all the hookups, STDs? How do you protect yourself? Do you think about this? Is it something that freaks you out? Like, how do the women handle it? I'm curious. Do they provide? Do they insist? Do they provide the protection? Do they come with condoms? How does it work?
So it depends on the girl. Some have condoms with them. Some don't. Some expect you to have. Some don't even want to. Some, you'd be surprised at how many women want to have unprotected sex.
I would take that as a red flag.
A lot.
I would take that as a red flag.
Not only is it, but I mean, it is a red flag, certainly, because if they're doing it with you, they're doing it with others. But most, happens all the time, most girls talk about wanting to have sex unprotected. Because, look, we all know, we're all adults here, unprotected sex is more pleasurable. Condom does get in the way of pleasure. Now, with a random person, it's very foolish. You don't know this person. You don't know their sexual history. It's not.
But by the way, that's a bit of BS. By the way, it's not really true. If you have the right condom and you try it, I'm sorry, but I don't buy that as an argument.
It's not an argument for it. I'm just saying it's not an excuse. It's just a reason.
Okay, go ahead.
I've had many different types of condoms. None of them can mimic the feel of
of nude
bareback.
Mm-hmm. Right, but what you don't want is to come home with something.
Now, is it called bareback? Is vagina penetration called bareback? Isn't bareback referring more to something else?
Bareback means not wearing a condom.
Okay. It doesn't matter what orifice it's going into.
Right.
I can tell you with the adult male virgins that I counsel, STDs is a major concern for them. And when they have their first sexual experience, they get into a very bad panic, lots of anxiety, and they're going to go get tested even if they had sex that one time because it's very overwhelming for them.
Right.
When a guy...
That's anxious people.
Yeah.
Right.
When I remember, back in my my single days, it was always balancing, yes, is there a fear that I might catch an STD? And balancing that with the fear of I might end up alone. So for some men, that's, which stigma do you want? Do you want the stigma of the guy who is alone and can't get a girlfriend and can't get a one-night stand? Or do you want the stigma of a STD?
Right. Well, we try to answer that question too, and then some here on the Boys Club on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, the podcast. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Once a month, the guys join me in studio. Ilan Preiser, Frank Kermit, and Ryan Ryder are all here and talking about different issues and talking about some of their activities. And one of the couple of texters are worried about or want to make sure you or mention the whole notion of STDs and safety. And, someone said, I would say that the majority of people are unaware of STDs like herpes or HPV. Condoms are useless. Well, HPV and herpes are contracted skin to skin. So anything below the belt, skin to skin, yes. These are things clearly you don't seem to worry about too much.
No, I certainly do. that's not true. Especially, I'd say as late as 4 years ago, I worried about it quite a bit, but I also accepted the fact that I'm sexually active. I'm as safe as I can be.
How often do you get tested?
I'd say about twice a year.
Twice a year?
Twice a year.
Someone else wrote in, "Hi, Dr. Laurie. I know this question has been asked many times on your show, but since your guests know where to find hookups, where can they suggest to find serious-minded singles? I know the common answer is meetup groups and such, but is there a more precise type of establishment?"
Frank, you should probably feel this.
Yeah, I think so.
This is for serious singles?
Yes, someone who's looking for a relationship, right?
The most serious place I can think of is a matchmaking agency.
Okay.
I mean, that's where people are paying to be introduced to someone looking for a serious relationship. It's certainly not part of the hookup culture.
Right.
And from there, you have to look at what your own value system is, and then look for people who will be participating in behaviors that reflect the values you have. If you're very religious, look to your religious community to find people that are taking part in doing activities like
you don't even need to be
volunteering.
very religious. You might want to just, meet up with somebody who shares your common culture or values without necessarily be so religious. But and all religious establishments have activities that for single people mostly.
And I've also found that if you are very clear that you want something serious, that you're not just interested in casually dating, employ your friends and family to say, look, I'm looking to meet somebody serious. It puts a lot of people at ease that you're not looking for something casual, that you want something serious, because they don't want to introduce people that are only just going to be casual about it.
Right. They don't want to get in trouble for it either.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go to the phone lines and have Matthew join us on the air. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Dr. Laurie.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I just wanted to talk quickly about the young guy that had said the girl
dirty
had
talk?
rape fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
I think first I have to say, and I might get shot down for this, but I think if it's two consenting adults, the word rape is canceled out.
Mm-hmm. I happen to agree with you.
And my women friends, and as you know, I'm very openly gay, and they tell me things that they wouldn't tell their partner, their boyfriend, or things. But you just mentioned that word to them, and even me, who's their friend, the next thing I'll get a slap in the face.
You mentioned what? The
rape.
word rape.
The word
but
rape
people
is a very...
misunderstand that. When people say rape fantasies, they don't mean rape. They don't.
No, exactly.
They don't mean that. This is what I really want.
Yeah, let me be very clear. I have no interest in forcing myself on a woman who doesn't want my attention.
Well,
right.
And I think the other thing is in the gay world, a lot of my partners have had those fantasies.
There you go.
But it's totally different in the gay world because I believe you're two men. And again, I might get shot down. But I think in the straight world, I don't know if a man and a woman could ever be equal.
Well, it's the power imbalance. And I think in what you're saying is in the gay relationship, you take a little bit of that away in terms of the power imbalance.
And the last thing for me, as far as I know, from my knowledge, usually when you speak about barebacking, normally, I'm not saying, but from my sex books at home and stuff, it usually you're speaking about gay sex.
I think that's where it originated.
And I'm very upset about that because I've lost 35 friends to HIV/AIDS.
Wow.
35. Wow.
Yeah, since 1979.
Wow.
And I don't agree with that. If you cannot involve a condom in that, then find other things, blow BJs or whatever else.
Right. Even then, you should be.
Yeah.
There should be condoms. Thanks for your call, Matthew. Appreciate it. Bye bye. Someone else wants to. Mario actually saying it's hard to believe what I'm hearing. Someone having fantasies about being raped by her father sounds like someone in need of serious professional help. How is that attractive?
I gave her
How
help.
is that
Sorry.
attractive at all? Stop that. But listen, this is serious. How is that attractive at all? And that's a very good point. How could you even find that a turn on, Ilan? That's to you.
I'm feeling judged.
Whether she felt in control of the fantasy or not, I would be worried about this person's sanity. Isn't that a concern when inviting someone into your bedroom who you've only known for 2 hours from a cell phone app? Okay, he's being a little judgy, but
I'm going to defend him.
But-
When you're in the moment, you can't think straight sometimes.
oh,
First
come
of
on,
all,
give me a break. You better
You're
start
in the
thinking.
heat of the moment.
No,
there
no.
were a
you got it
few
going on.
things to talk about there. So number one, it wasn't the night of for the first one. It was the second night we hung out. Granted, look, you meet all kinds of characters when you live this sort of lifestyle, and I didn't not enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't find it unattractive, is really what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I thought that was clear.
Okay. Okay. I want to talk about, well, this is an interesting article. It was in Psychology Today. Are all erections the same? Men discuss the differences. And I think arousal in the morning or erections in the morning versus erections that are created through arousal, like, conscious arousal, because you wake up middle of the night and it's men have 9 erections a night. Like, that's the standard thing. So I have no clue. I have no personal experience in that regard. Only you guys can answer this question. Are they different? Or do these erections feel any differently?
I like morning erections. I find that's the best. That's the best time to get it on.
Okay.
Because they're harder and longer lasting.
Longer lasting. All right. Do they actually feel any different?
Yeah, there is. There are times when the erection is not necessarily as impactful. There are times when it may be a bit softer. There are other times when a sensation of throbbing. It all depends.
More sensitivity?
More sensitivity would be a good way to describe it.
Yeah, there's a whole guy. Actually, if people want to read about this, it's very interesting. They had a whole slew of guys of all ages talking about this on Psychology Today. It was just published. It was published last month, but super interesting. Yeah, so I think that's a question like women just don't know, right? For them, erection. Must be this erection is an erection. But I think for guys, they feel it differently.
They feel it differently, but the impulse to want to have sex is usually fairly constant.
Doesn't matter when. Erection means, it's ready. Okay, I can do it.
Right, and depending on the erection, maybe one erection is going to be a lot more firm, a lot more enjoyable than others.
And the morning one tends to be the most enjoyable, longest lasting, and firmest.
So that's so this is a unanimous for the three of you.
Yeah,
thinking
I would have to say
that's
so.
it. All right. Well, ladies, now you learned something about erections. That's all I can say. I do want to talk to you guys about cheating and the definition of cheating, because that keeps changing, and it's whoever you speak to seems to be a little different. I have met people who've come to my office who have accused their partners of cheating when what they have done was watch pornography, but they felt that was cheating. Where they had just a friendship with somebody of the opposite sex and they considered that cheating. Or they went to a strip club and their partner went to a strip club and they felt that was cheating. So whoever you ask seems to answer differently. Is cheating considered only when you've gone below the belt? Is flirting cheating? Is sexting cheating? Is massage with a happy ending cheating? Is lap dance cheating? So those are the questions we will answer, and would love to hear some of our listeners' thoughts as well. Men or women. We haven't heard from any ladies really tonight, so I want to hear. 514-790-0800 or 514-800 if you'd like to text in a comment. What is cheating exactly? What form does it take, and what isn't cheating? We'll try to answer that question coming up here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, the podcast. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
That's good, Ryan. The Boys Club, Ryan, Ilan, and Frank in studio. By the way, Ryan and Ilan have a show together on combat sports, basically, which you'll have to explain to me what that is, but it's on websportsmedia.com. It's called The Main event you guys talk? It must be so testosterone filled.
Oh, there's a lot of testosterone. It's actually, well, we used to do it for many years. We used to have it on maineventradio.com. We're bringing it back now, websportsmedia.com. We talk about all the latest in professional wrestling and in mixed martial arts. And at one point we had a pretty big following. We got all the big name guests. We got a lot of testosterone, a lot of
that's fun.
all the latest news and rumors.
So that's Sunday. This Sunday.
In combat sports, yeah, coming back this Sunday, 1 p.m. To 3 p.m. wemsportsmedia.com.
Awesome. Have fun, guys.
Looking forward to it.
I can't say I'll be listening because I really don't like combat sport.
Hey, I'm sure we'll put a smile on your face, even if you don't know one thing about it. You can listen and you'll be entertained.
I'm sure I'll be entertained though. That you guys can be funny.
And the thing is, me and him on this show, we agree. On sports, especially wrestling and
agree?
MMA, we might want to kill each other after the first episode.
Oh, really?
Oil and water. We always have been.
That's
it's his kind of conservative tendencies come out more on that show, and my liberal sensibilities come out more. And it's war.
Just like here, a little bit sometimes. We've been talking about cheating behavior, and actually we have a few listeners who want to weigh in on this. Hi, Sean. Welcome to the Boys Club tonight on Passion.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, I was concerning whether or not happy ending massages you would consider that cheating or not.
Yeah.
I myself see it as I think it's a gray zone for me. I look at it in a way where I look at it like as if it's shaking hands, but with a different part of the body.
Oh yeah, would your girlfriend agree or your wife agree with that?
I think it's supposed to snow on Wednesday.
Yeah, Sean. Okay.
I definitely consider cheating.
All right. Thanks for calling. All right. Bye. Let's hear from a woman. Gia, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Good. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, one of my thoughts, I wouldn't consider a strip club cheating.
Okay.
Or watching pornography cheating, because the whole aspect of cheating is having physical relations with another partner.
So it would have to be actual touch. So if it was through webcam and they had that wouldn't be.
Computer, you can't technically have physical relations with a screen because that would just be weird.
But you're having you can be playing with yourself and the other person on the other end. You could be watching them. They could be watching you. It's a real person.
And what if it was
they would be doing it in real time.
What about for a long period of time too? Over, weeks or months.
Would that be considered cheating?
I don't think it would still be considered cheating because, again, you're not actually having physical relations with that person.
Okay.
It's just like
So for you have to be touching.
Extracurricular activity.
So it's only an extracurricular activity. You have to be touching. I think a lot of people, Gia, would not agree with you. Unfortunately, that's the reality because of all the technologies. Things have changed in terms of the definition of cheating. Thanks so much for calling in. Lisa says all of those scenarios are cheating, especially strip clubs with contact dancing, which are basically brothels. Someone else says that cheating to me is if you're married and a partner has sex with another, then their so-called love is clearly cheating and very hurtful and devastating. You can forgive, but not forget. But again, the definition of sex. What's the definition of sex?
When it comes to people trying to figure out what is cheating, it comes down into two categories. The first one is whatever they decide is the rule and then somebody breaks that rule. Doesn't matter if you're in a monogamous relationship or an open relationship. It being an open relationship doesn't mean that cheating doesn't happen.
Right.
As long as if you break the rules that the couple has set, you're cheating for certain people. For other people, cheating has to do with the issue of where are you putting your attention and is there a potential threat to our relationship?
Right.
If you're putting attention into a friendship, into something else, if you're putting attention into pornography and it's starting to interfere with the primary relationship, some people will consider that cheating.
Right. Well, it's a problem. And I don't know if it's cheating, but it is definitely a problem. A couple of texters said, I think any physical relations with a deliberate intent to hide it from your spouse is cheating. I agree with that one. Mario says it's all cheating. If you even have to think for even 2 seconds about whether or not it's cheating, then it's cheating for sure. And it's so not worth it. Don't do it. You'll be sorry. A moment of pleasure, a lifetime of regret. That's a very, very true statement.
Really?
A moment of pleasure, a lifetime of regret.
Potentially.
Potentially, yes. But you speak to couples who have stayed together or who have gone through this kind of thing and who regret what they've done. They keep that guilt with them.
It never makes it worth it again. You're not talking about a relationship that was already on its way out. You don't have kids. You're both single, living apart. When you have built a life together, it's very difficult to just go back to that life and back to that routine, because the pain that you end up going through never makes what the enjoyment that you had, the temporary enjoyment,
worth it.
That's right. We're running short on time, so I don't think we could get through like each thing, what's cheating, what's not. We'll have to save that for another episode. But when it comes to strip clubs, I've never understood girls that consider it cheating.
You never what?
I've never understood girls that consider strip clubs to be cheating.
It's nonsense. I'll say, look, a contact dance, you can make an argument for it. A guy looking at other naked women, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
All right. Well, I'd love to hear from women who think that's cheating. I've certainly heard women who are upset by their partners going. I don't know if they actually consider it cheating, but who are upset by it. Do you think there's anything to be upset about? You're listening to The Boys Club here on Passion on CJAD.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, the podcast. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight, we are running out of time very quickly. A lot of text messages here. There's emotional cheating, which includes these scenarios. Body contact, holding hands, kissing on the lips or the head near the frontal lobe, not male appendage, are precursors to infidelity, Liam says. I love this one. If you can't talk about it at breakfast with your partner, it's cheating. Would these men feel good about their women ogling naked men, says Kayla. And one last thing, I have rape fantasies, not with my dad though, but still the idea of being taken by force is enticing to me. Now about cheating, I have to say that as much as I hate to say it, I think porn and strippers are good outlets if a man wants to be faithful, as I don't believe men are programmed to be monogamous. Some make a good effort at remaining faithful, but really they're fighting natural urges. Like I said, I hate to say that.
I totally agree with that text. Very smart girl.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Georgia. She said something very clever to me today. Girls should make their men's penises hard, not their lives hard.
Oh, God, give me a break. You just had to say that one. All right, guys, I want to thank you very much. Tune in, websportsmedia.com, Sunday 1 to 3 to hear the main event. If you like sports, it's all about combat sports, that show. You can hear Ryan and Ilan host their very own show. Frank, thank you very much. We'll catch up with you during Dating Dilemmas at the end of the month.
Yep.
Ilan, thank you. Hopefully we'll see you next month. And Ryan, thanks as always for everything.
My pleasure.
Thank you to all of you for texting in. Great comments, great phone calls tonight. Very much appreciated. Need to thank James Foster in Master Control, the other guy, the guy behind the scenes, the quiet guy right there, part of the Boys Club too. Just the silent partner there. And his great technical work, of course. News coming up next, followed by the CJAD Comedy Show. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and please remember life is short, so make sure you take the time to smell the flowers and indulge your passions.
Listen to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD and CJAD.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching is available in person, by phone, and by Skype for singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles. franktalks.com.
The Monogamy Map. Remember to sign up for the Monogamy Map newsletter and get weekly tips about navigating the journey of setting up and creating successful monogamy for two. Sign up at franktalks.com now.
Remember to sign up for the Alternative Relationship Choices ARC newsletter and get weekly tips to guide you through polyamory, swinging, and the basics of non-monogamy. We can help you find your ARC, your alternative relationship choice. Sign up at franktalks.com now.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com, franktalks.com.